Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Gerhardt's Appliances has what you need to be tailgate ready this season for the Birds and the Fightin's Pennant Drive. Whether it's the in-home appliances needed to prepare your famous Kelly green pepper casserole before pregame, or the barbecue grills you'll need to fire up the last of your sausage links in the parking lot before kickoff or first pitch, Gerhardt's has you covered with the best game day deals on appliances, helping Philly sports fans get the season cooking since 1945. Visit Gerhardt'sAppliance.com.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
So much breaking news this morning. We have Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressing the UN. And I know that Trump, our obviously GOP-sided candidate, former president, meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky today. I'd love to be a fly on that wall. And then we have the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, heading to the border, she says, heading to Arizona. We've got it all covered on a national level where the campaigns are headed this weekend. And I know the vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance, he'll be in Pennsylvania, back in Pennsylvania this weekend. We're going to talk about all of it. Thank you so much to those of you who I was able to join you last night in an incredible evening with Michael Whatley, obviously RNC chair, coming in and just had a great time. And so a lot of you just enjoyed seeing you in person, and thanks for all the compliments to all of us here. I mean, I just got especially I loved it at one point, Michael Whatley, and I called him. I told him he's like the archangel, Michael. But he at one point said, "I love Zioli." It was neat, just the shout outs, for people. But I heard it all. I love Nick Cale. I love Greg Stocker. Love Dom Giordano. So it was really nice to hear people, because we're in this family, I guess you might say, and we have such a camaraderie when we do get together, really positive energy. And I'm feeling the energy from the women up ahead. We'll hear from my beautiful friend, Hope Danoff, Republicans with Hope, and she was there. Of course, I was her guest, and just coming up shortly, you'll hear from the Montgo commissioner, the only right-sided guy in Montgo. So just his battle and what he's looking at, and kind of get his forecast, if you will. I don't know if you want to dip into a little bit of Netanyahu, Dan, before we get to the Montgomery County and local. So there's so much locally breaking, a lot of police searches, and even, some of it I've talked about in Kale and Company, delivering the news and the big three, but just thinking about the suburban crime right over the border from Philadelphia into Montgomery County. And so you think about that these children being attacked on their school buses in Montgomery County, if you know where the township is, their Cheltenham Township, this is right over the border. I will be curious when they finally do, and I know they will catch the trio of thugs threatening school children. A girl on the school bus stop just this week as she was robbed and targeted. She's okay physically, but the parents are, from what I'm hearing, these kids are shaken. There were two attempts, and one where they did rob her and get away. but it's a trio of these thugs, and they're calling it, a strong-armed robbery of children waiting 7 o'clock in the morning on a school bus. What's going on here? I suspect that these suspects are crossing from Philadelphia into Montgo. That's just my theory, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong on that one. And then the ages of those suspects, but children being targeted, a lot of parents. And I wonder how that plays in the upcoming election when you think about your security, your safety. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? You want to play this with Netanyahu?
Yeah, so just a couple moments from Netanyahu. As he got to the podium, a bunch of diplomats actually stood up and walked out, and there was some noise and sound, and you can
drama.
You can hear the diplomats, the UN audience here, and then this is the start of Netanyahu's speech. Take a listen.
Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order. Order, please.
And now he takes
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't intend to come here this year. My country is at war, fighting for its life. But after I heard the lies and slanders leveled at my country by many of the speakers at this podium, I decided to come here and set the record straight.
So you can imagine that, you heard the hostility right there at the United Nations with these jerks who don't even have the civility to give this man respect. I mean, he's clearly embattled. His civilian citizens, nearly 1 year ago, we're coming up on that 1 year commemoration, but his civilian citizens attacked by heavily armed terrorists who plotted against them and breaking into their homes and not only taking many hostage, and we know that there are, hope to God, some still alive, these hostages, including Americans, by the way. But you think about this, how disgraceful that was. And so obviously Netanyahu is a fighter, and the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi as he's known, has for decades, really fought for his country and talked about global anti-Semitism. And he dealt with it last night, these anti-Israeli protesters outside his hotel saying, "We're going to get you." Just take in for a moment what his country has been dealing with since October 7th, when Hamas terrorists committed a massacre against innocent people. Mommies and daddies and grandparents and kids and teenagers and girls were ravaged and violated. It was sick. And so the attitude of our media, and even the attitude of these individuals at the UN who are supposed to be representing their nations, it's a disgrace. The way the media, listen to this, are these the protesters outside the hotel? It's a sin. And so, I know he's addressing the UN. You hear him saying, my country, we're fighting for our life. We know that yesterday Netanyahu had rejected at least one of the U.S.-led ceasefire proposals between Israel and the Lebanese militant group. This is Hezbollah, and he's fighting. And so now as well, I will point out to you, Israel has just announced yesterday it had reached an agreement with the United States of America, the Biden-Harris administration, for this $8.7 billion aid package, which supports the ongoing military efforts. So we will continue to follow this. You'll hear from the Prime Minister Dan is monitoring that, and we'll bring you pieces of his speech. Get your thoughts, 855-839-1210. But Netanyahu continues to speech. Bringing in a little Montgomery County music there, Dan.
Yeah, Midnight in Montgomery by Alan Jackson. Why not?
Thank you. Setting the tone for our next guest. It was great to see our commissioner, one of the commissioners of the Montgomery Board of Commissioners there in Montgomery County. This is Tom DeBello, who you may recall a year ago was the Republican candidate who won that final spot on this Board of Commissioners along with 2 Democrats. And so it's a real transformation that we've seen in Montgomery County. And so you're outnumbered, Tom DeBello, but still strong and determined. Great to see you at last night's event.
Yeah, it was a pleasure seeing you as well last night. It was a good event, a lot of energy in the room, so that was exciting.
And so take me through, I just want to get an update, if I can, a snapshot from you. I know that just this year in January you took office, so not even a year on the job, if you will. And so take me through the changes you're seeing, because I think that many last night, at least at the great event, are feeling like there is something happening across the country, across the region, and yes, in Montgomery County, where I think a lot of people have said, "Oh, Montgomery County is going 100% blue." What are you seeing in Montgomery County, and are you seeing an energized, let's say this, a new energy?
So, yeah, first off, thank you for having me on this
Absolutely.
morning. So I've Montgomery County right now leans a little bit more blue than red, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 90,000 more registered Democrats than Republicans. But I will tell you that I've been all over Montgomery County. I've been speaking at a lot of different events throughout the last several months. And I've seen that the amount of energy is I say almost explosive, that to the point where they want change. Everyone talks about, this election, as we know, the economy is the number one concern of many. And that's what people are talking about. I know our opposing party wants to focus on one other topic, which is what they call is women's reproductive rights.
Mm-hmm.
But that is when you look at the polls and all that, a lot of people are more concerned about the economy. They're more concerned about the border. They're more concerned about crime. They're more concerned about the drugs and that are pouring into this country. That's what I'm hearing out there. And I've been talking, and like I said, at different groups and different meetings. I've been at events where there'd be 300-400 people that I would be speaking at, and the energy is high. They want change. We've put out probably over or close to 10,000 Trump signs throughout the county. There's billboard signs. There's 4x8 signs out there. What we haven't seen before are displaying these Trump signs in their yards more than we've ever seen before. As you recall, I mentioned last night that, 2016, the energy was extremely high for President Trump. And then in 2020, it was kind of a little bit low, and maybe we were back on our heels a little bit. Maybe we assumed certain things were going to happen. COVID was occurring. But the energy in 2024 in Montgomery County that I'm seeing is even higher than what it is than it was in 2016. So we're feeling very optimistic that we are going to be where we need to be numbers-wise. At the end of probably midday November 6th is when we anticipate having all of the mail-in ballots counted, and then of course compiled with the in-person voting from November 5th. But we're feeling pretty good.
And what did you make of? Obviously Michael Whatley visiting Montgomery County, elected obviously as the RNC chair. And, a biggity big, if you will, within the GOP, within the RNC. And really, I think, giving a rah-rah, energizing speech, a lot of numbers. Do you think that it worked? What did you make of Michael Whatley's speech last night?
I thought his speech was really energizing. I will say that I heard most of what he was talking about before, because I've been at a few other events with him and speaking with him at some other events. So I was kind of like, you know, I had a preview of what he was going to say, but what he was saying last night was right on target as far as what they're seeing at it from a national perspective as well as from a state perspective. I think one of the things that he pointed out last night was, you know, in 2020 there was almost 800,000 more registered Democrats in Pennsylvania than Republicans, and in 2024 we're down to about 330,000 difference between R&Ds throughout the state of Pennsylvania. And we, with this, there was just a report that came out, and I can't remember if he referred to this last night or not, but there was just a report that came out as right now at this time compared to 2020, there's about 800,000, if I have this right, it's about 800,000 less mail-in ballots at this point in time across Pennsylvania than there was in 2020. So I don't know what that's going to translate to, other than it's probably going to be more people voting in person on Election Day. But statistically, the polls are kind of interesting when you see on TV as far as where Trump is in the polls. But I'm not seeing it. From what I believe he's going to be. I think he's going to be doing a lot better than what that people are trying to think he's going to do within the polls. But the numbers are definitely moving in our favor. That's what I believe.
And what do you make of, as far as Montgomery County, there's this RNC lawsuit that has accused Montgomery County of starting the election without properly and legally testing the voting equipment and that sort of thing. And we've reported a lot on that here. So is there an update on that, or does that change anything for what you're trying to do here?
Well, that's a great question, but let me just roll the clock back just a little bit, real quick. So over the last couple months, I believe that my counterparts have been getting direction from the higher ups within the DNC. Okay. I know one of my counterparts has been down to Washington a few times and has come back. He heads up our election board. So there's directives coming from a lot of different places. There was a push to add drop boxes, which I voted against. There was a push to add more satellite offices, which I voted against. And also we're doing something where we call it the ice cream truck, but the county bought a van, $140,000 van to equip to drive around Montgomery County to what I say do canvassing. Not canvassing, I'm sorry, harvesting, ballot harvesting. And the goal is to help people cure their ballots if they send something in that's not accurate on their ballot, on their envelopes. They have intentions of going to nursing homes and parking out front, and what I've been asking for as a county commissioner, I want to know what the oversight is, what's the operating procedures, the policies, everything that goes along with that to protect what that van may or may not be doing. So I have concerns about that. And all this kind of leads up, it's just a continuation of why the RNC filed the lawsuit, because, when you read through the code, you're supposed to do LNA testing, logistics and access testing on all the machines that you process mail and ballots through, and the machines that are used on Election Day. You're supposed to do this testing before voting starts. But so the lawsuit's basically claiming that mail-in ballots should not be sent out before the LNA has been completed. And so the mail-in ballots have been sent, and we just started LNA testing on Monday of this week. And mail-in ballots already were held up last week because not only was I asking questions, but because LNA was supposed to start last Friday, but I was in some meetings. I've asked a bunch of questions. I even asked about, shouldn't we be publicly advertising that the LNA is starting? So we ended up rescheduling in late Thursday to start LNA instead of Friday, do it on Monday. And then what they did, they decided to change the order of LNA testing when we were going to test the machines that do the mail-in ballot processing. So and my question was, well, why, if we had no concerns about pre the lawsuit, why are we making all of these changes or in the basically the plan of action? And I get, well, we're just trying to be double careful. I said, well, that makes no sense to me, because now you're just pointing out to me that if the lawsuit wasn't filed, we would just be doing this stuff off the cuff, and now I really have to question what's true or not true. So the lawsuit itself, I think, has merit. I don't believe a judge has been assigned yet. I haven't heard.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. So I think once the judge is assigned to the case and the case is, the process starts of, what's going to happen. I know that I don't know what the end result will be, but if it's proved out right that we shouldn't have did this, then I'm going to push that those mail-in ballots that were sent out not only are quarantined, but are hand counted and not sent through any machines when they return. But that's going to be my goal anyway. But we'll have to wait and see what the result of the cases are.
Yeah, because I heard the media initially, because it was supposed to happen the 16th. I actually we had talked to Linda Kearns. She had explained the whole LNA process, right? And so she had gone through that. And so we were talking about it actually Monday morning, the 16th, because people were hearing, oh, wait, my mail-in ballot, they thought should be there. They could vote on the 16th. She was explaining the mail-in ballot will be here soon. But then it's being reported that election officials started mailing things out on the 17th, when after Pennsylvania Secretary of State Al Schmidt had finalized everything. But what you're saying is they actually had not gone through that, that process where everything is verified and tested. Right.
So the mail-in ballots, I don't remember the exact date. I guess it was, I believe it was the 13th when Al Schmidt said that the ballots had been certified. So then the goal would be on the 16th, the 17th, the mail-in ballots were supposed to be, not supposed to be,
mm-hmm.
but were scheduled to be mailed out. And because of all of everything that we just talked about, including some of the stuff that Linda Kearns has probably talked to you about
mm-hmm.
as well, the mail-in ballots went out this week, starting the 23rd to 24th. Is from, so people start seeing them show up probably 25th, 26th, and they'll be getting them today through the weekend as well.
And so, because the media isn't really reporting on this, and that's why the details matter, and obviously that's why I'm going into the nitty gritty. And so with something like this, as far as this goes, is it, I would imagine that as far as that county commission, and I think it was, in all honesty, I think it was an effort for a selfie to be the first in Pennsylvania, to vote in Montco. But at the end of the day, what does that symbolize to you that this has happened right from the get-go with the mail-in ballots?
Well, what it symbolizes to me, and you're 100% right, his goal, his initiative was to be able to claim that he was the first person to vote in Pennsylvania with this election. That was his whole drive. What it symbolizes, what it means to me, is that we're being reckless with the overall processes and procedures of what we should be doing. The ballots themselves that are coming back, I mean, we're going to do everything to secure and ensure that, their integrity is applied. But like I said, depending on the outcome of this case, I am going to push really hard that those ballots are hand counted and secured. So that's what I will be pushing for as well. But I mean, it just gives a bad look. And Montgomery County is the third largest county in Pennsylvania. We're the second largest county with Republican voters in Montgomery County. Within Pennsylvania. So it kind of gives the impression that because of this rush and because of what we're doing, then perception starts to look. What are we being shady about things? Because we know we have Democratic majority. And you've heard the phrase for many, many years, perception is reality. And so people are asking me, like, what's going on in the county, and, why is it happening? Why is that happening? And so people are with these elections, people are uneasy to begin with. And one of the things that when I came in with my new commissioner friends, I told them, I said, we know November is going to be huge for us, and I just wanted to go low key, status quo, under the radar, just do everything on the up and up, And obviously, they didn't take my advice, and we're adding drop boxes. We've taken security away from the drop boxes. We opened them 20. I don't. When I say we, I mean the county, because I voted no against all of this. The drop boxes are open 24/7.
Are there cameras? There are cameras, though.
There are cameras, but the cameras aren't monitored. So what I know, there's a whole initiative. There's a group out there, a citizens group, that's frustrated. And I know that they're planning to have people at the drop boxes and watching what's going on. We had some residents in the primary that have witnessed people putting in multiple ballots. Let
me ask you this, because we're running up against a tough time. Tom DeBello, I just want to ask you this. If somebody wants to volunteer in the county to be a poll watcher, or as you're saying, maybe one of these drop-off boxes watchers or whatever, how do they volunteer if you're with the county?
Well, if they're in Montgomery County, I'm not directly involved in this, but if they reach out to me, I can direct them or put them in the right direction, to who they can interact with. Because I need to be careful as a county commissioner. Yes. I need to be, even though from a partisan standpoint, I know who I want to win and where we need to go. I also have to, do right by all the voters. So I'm not directly involved, but I could get them in contact with this citizens group.
Great. Thank you so much, Tom DeBello, Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. It was great seeing you last night. Great event. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Don. Take care.
You take care, too. So what I would say is you can go to protectthevote.com. That's the site that Linda Kearns, that her group manages. Or if you want your mail-in ballot, swampthevote.com. Swampthevote.com. You can also go to pa.gov, but it's just you have to maneuver through and check to get to the right department. So swampthevote.com makes it a little easier. Make sure you go to the proper county, and then you'll get your proper ballot. But if you want to, I would say protectthevote.com. Is that, Dan, do you agree with that?
100%.
Okay.
Linda Kearns is fantastic. She's the Pennsylvania
the
Election Integrity Council for the GOP. She's the one helping out with Protect the Vote, joins us on multiple shows, your show, Dom's show, Rich's show. I think she's been on Kale's show. Go check out protectthevote.com if you're wanting to help out. She could really, really use some volunteers. Yeah,
and I would say no matter what your party, and that's just it, because I know some of you are Democrats, some of you are independents, many of you are Republicans, but they want a diversity there, because you heard Tom say this, and I believe him. I think the disappointment here is that there are people who may say, see, it's all corrupt and my vote doesn't matter. We never want that to happen. I think we can all find common ground on that very issue. And so with this one, what Republicans are pushing for with regard to this unfortunate situation, the race to be first, whatever, if it's a vanity issue, etc., is that they're saying, hey, let's just quarantine those few ballots that may have come back in that were not through the proper process. Let's have transparency, just have them hand counted, and that restores that idea of truth, transparency, in our election process for election integrity. And that's what I hear Tom DeBello saying. So we thank Tom. Quick break, I guess, right? And we've got a beautiful lady who brings hope for Republicans. Hope Danoff is next to give us some updates, especially as far as what conservative women in our region are doing and what you can do. Thanks for being here. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale & Company. The NFL season is flying by. Can you believe it's week 4 already? But you still have time to start the season with a big return on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. You can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Looking ahead to Sunday, same game parlay. How about this one? Saquon Barkley to score an anytime touchdown. Dallas Goedert on the over receiving yards. And Jalen Hurts on the over for passing yards. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg to make every moment more this season. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
When was the last time you watched your home movies? Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick. And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry. Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos. We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever. It's fast. We always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box. New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
The back-to-school savings event is here at Hessert Chevrolet. Drive away in a 2024 Trax 2RS at $298 for 36 months. Or electrify your commute in a 2024 Equinox LS at $249 for 24 months. Enjoy top-rated customer service and unbeatable deals. Don't wait. These offers won't last. Experience the difference at Hessert Chevrolet, Philadelphia's trusted Chevy dealer. Check us out at HessertChevy.com. Call 267-343-9094 for details.
Virtua Health
Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtual Health.
Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I thank them for keeping me alive.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
And Virtua is one of the best centers in the country for minimally invasive orthopedic surgery.
I had the hip replacement of the future. I'm back, baby.
Want to follow our stories? Go to Virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Yeah, especially feeling like a conservative woman. That's me. And that is my next guest, beautiful lady in red. Everybody loves Hope Danoff. Man, what a fan base you have, Hope. Everybody, last night, you should have seen her in her red Make America Again dress, high heels with a red umbrella. It was a rainy evening, but the rain did not keep my friend Hope Danoff away from a huge event, a rally, if you will, with Michael Whatley, RNC chair, who was the main keynote speaker. But a lot of women in the room fired up and re-energized, if you will, there in the suburbs. Hope Danoff, good morning, my friend.
Good morning, my beautiful friend, Dawn. What a pleasure it was to be with you last evening. I'm still on a high being with you, my friend.
Me too.
It was amazing.
Me too. And then we were texting each other, did you get home safe? It was pretty nasty. It was kind of foggy and nasty and rainy, and got home late last night. Foggy again this morning. What do you take away from last night? I mean, during Whatley's speech, you were a lot of people were fired up, got huge applause, standing ovation at the end. Obviously, an energized group of people who are, mostly I would say conservatives. Although it was interesting to me how many people said to me, I'm not far right, I'm more middle, or I'm independent. So I was hearing those comments as if people have to kind of say where they are. And what do you make of all of that and just the reaction to last night's event?
Well, last night's event was so awe-inspiring. I didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. I was in such a high. And I wanted to tell you something so fascinating this morning. I was at a class, and the instructor was saying to me, who's a Republican woman, said, I live in an old Democratic area, and my neighbors are Democrats, but guess what? They just registered Republican. They have Trump signs on their lawn. Dawn, was so taken back, we jumped up and hugged each other. There's a real sea change happening, and, even though people don't feel comfortable at this time to say, I'm voting for Donald Trump, I'm voting for Dave McCormick, I am registering Republican, it's happening. And I just see it as I'm on boots on the ground every day, talking to everyone from Kensington to Bryn Mawr to Welsh Valley to out in the suburbs, that people are saying, I am fed up. I do not like what's happening. I voted Democrat all these years. I don't want to keep voting the same way. You know what they always say when you vote that way, expect a different result. There's something insanity there as well. So people are waking up, and I saw Newt Gingrich at about 3 a.m. as I was watching TV, saying that he was looking at the numbers and saying that he was going through each state on and just saying that the numbers are moving tremendously towards Trump now. I just want to tell you that, like I mentioned before, we're going to win this, and Dave McCormick's going to win. And I'm very excited about working in Pennsylvania and then going across the country as well.
And so for you, I remember when you were starting what you call the little grassroots movement, you wanted to just create a platform and bring people together. And it's really turned into Republicans with Hope, an organization by which I think you're really just trying to reach out to find a common ground. So I don't see you as somebody who says to people, oh, you have to be this quote unquote far left or reform. I mean, what are you all about and what's your goal?
I think the reason why I'm really, connecting with people from all walks of life is that my goal is to build a diverse community. That is really where I want to go. I want to reach out, and it's happening now, to the African-American voters that are fed up with being Democrats. I want to reach out to the Hispanic voters, the Jewish voters. So I'm Jewish, and a lot of those voters vote, Democrat. They've, it's not the JFK party anymore. So I want to represent the youth. I have people coming to my event, a lot of youth. And so it's really about building a diverse community with the gay community, too, that I've connected many people to the Log Cabin Republicans, the gay wing with the Log Cabins, with my flag wave with them every single Saturday. And also my events that, are about meet and greet the African-American candidates. The Democratic Party has always said, like, we're the party, of the inner city. We're the party of, like, the minorities. Well, they're waking up now because they realize, wait a second, I voted this way all this time and it's not working for me. I'm going to look a different way. That's why Donald Trump and Newt Gingrich talked about this last night. That's why he's booming, really, with the African-American males. And I see it when I flag wave, and also the women, too. So this is just the beginning of about educating people what the Republican Party stands for, because we talked about that. It stands for such beautiful things, and a lot of people, are just being, fed from the Democratic media and fed something that's not true. So I'm out here trying to educate and also energize the base that a lot of them don't vote.
So I know you have events tomorrow and then again on Sunday. How can people join in on some of especially the flag waving sessions that you do?
Sure. Well, the flag waving, come and email me at republicanswithhope@gmail.com. Tomorrow at East Norriton from 10 to 12, we'll have all your African-American candidates there for a meet and greet. And Tom DeBella, your county commissioner that was just on, he'll be there. And Trump Force 47 will be there. We're going to do a video and send it up to Trump headquarters. And I also want to just touch on this. Last night, Dawn, when I got home, I almost cried. I was so touched that Lara Trump is sending a video. She already sent it to me for the Women for Trump event that hopefully everyone can join us with our beautiful Stacey Garrity. And Lara Trump sent a beautiful video in for us. And that's going to be at a private home in Marion Station on October 13th from 1 to 3:30. Please contact me at republicanswithhope@gmail.com and republicanswithhope.com. Let's join together to really win this election and really save our country.
Beautifully said. Hope Danoff, you're the best.
Hey, before you let her go,
yes?
Just some comments from youtube.com/@1210WPHT, @1210WPHT. Please go like and subscribe. Sylvia Hope says, I love this woman, so inspiring. Mangle says she is Sylvia. And Sue says, Hope is so great, so true to her name. She definitely exudes hope. So thank you, Hope.
God bless you all. I look forward to talking. Thanks so much.
Until next time, my friend. Yeah, and just her conversations even with Dave McCormick and her connection and friendship with him is nice to hear. I'll ask her about that next time. We're up against a tough break here, and there's a lot developing. In fact, I'll tell you who Donald J. Trump is meeting with just this morning. So we have some Trump news just moments ago. That around the corner and so much more locally, nationally. It's Friday. Happy Friday. 855-839-1210 if you want to comment. Be right back.
I do think it's badass that Andrew Jackson beat a would-be assassin with a cane. I think that is the coolest thing. I mean, come on. Guy takes 2 shots at him, the gun misfires both times, and he's like, that's it. Like, I wish to God there were cameras back then to capture Andrew Jackson pummeling this guy with a cane.
It wasn't even his cane. He took it from another guy. He was that upset.
Give me that cane. Starts beating the crap out of the guy. Oh, man. That's the best thing I've heard all day.
Rich Zioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
The following is a paid commercial message.
A lot of congressmen talk about real results, but Brian Fitzpatrick actually delivers for real people like Tom.
I believe that Congressman Fitzpatrick does have his finger on the pulse, does feel the needs of businesses, and recognizes what small businesses mean to Main Street America.
Janice.
I would say 100% that I support Brian Fitzpatrick for Congress. I know that he has our interests at heart. He's just really a man of great integrity.
And Pete.
Congressman Fitzpatrick is very responsive, especially to veterans' needs. I can't think of any other person I'd rather see as my congressman than Brian Fitzpatrick.
Delivering for Pennsylvania. That's Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick. Vote on or before Election Day, November 5th. Paid for by America's Credit Unions PAC of Credit Union National Association, Inc., americascreditunions.org, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. America's Credit Unions PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our Timeshare Exit Information Kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
So I'll get to Trump news in just a moment. I just want to recap for you this powerful speech by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And this as he's saying we are winning and addressing the United Nations amid a ceasefire, obviously, in the Middle East. That's not happening. And I want you to think about these individuals protesting, anti-Israel protesters outside his hotel. We're going to get you, essentially threatening him on a personal level, hundreds of these protesters in New York City. And Trump is there, too, just to set the stage. You think about the world stage, New York City, with leaders around the world. Just think about this for a moment. Leaders around the world protesters outside his hotel threatening him, anti-Israel protesters. You've got the New York mayor, Eric Adams, turning himself in this morning, facing these charges and all these fraud allegations, the swirl of that. You've got Trump meeting with Zelensky as I speak in New York City. Just picture this, all of this. And Netanyahu this guy's got some cojones. Let's just talk about this. But listen to him, and you understand when he's speaking why he's rejecting a ceasefire with Hezbollah.
Hezbollah brazenly refused to implement UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which requires it to move its forces away from our borders. Instead, Hezbollah moved right up to our border. They secretly dug terror tunnels to infiltrate our communities and indiscriminately fired thousands of rockets into our towns and villages. They fire these rockets and missiles not from military sites, not from that. They do that too. But they fire those rockets and missiles after they place them in schools, in hospitals, in apartment buildings, and in the private homes of the citizens of Lebanon. They endanger their own people. They put a missile in every kitchen, a rocket in every garage. I said to the people of Lebanon this week, get out of the death trap that Hezbollah has put you in. Don't let Nasrallah drag Lebanon into the abyss. We're not at war with you. We're at war with Hezbollah, which has hijacked your country and threatens to destroy ours. As long as Hezbollah chooses the path of war, Israel has no choice, and Israel has every right to remove this threat and return our citizens to their homes safely. And that's exactly what we're doing.
So big applause there after some members of the UN walked out, some not even there. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Bibi, he's clearly seeking to rally international support, and he's educating the public as well. And you can hear that. He's essentially saying that in Lebanon, the people there are being used as human shields by a terrorist organization. That's what he's saying, and trying to rally this support for Israel at the United Nations General Assembly in New York City. And what a fighter he is, saying that Israel will continue its wars until Hamas and Hezbollah are destroyed. That is his vow, as he's saying that in Israel they are fighting for their lives. So I know, Dan, you have more as he tries. I think even as he's trying to rally international support, this is his moment as well. He knows he's in New York City, which is the hub, the media hub, if you will, for American media. All the networks are there. And that's why he's trying in every way to relate this to Americans so that every American can be educated on what's really happening here. Here's another example of how he's trying to relate this to you as the American citizen.
Hezbollah is the quintessential terror organization in the world today. It has tentacles that span in all continents. It has murdered more Americans and more Frenchmen than any group except bin Laden. It's murdered the citizens of many countries represented in this room. And it has attacked Israel viciously over the last 20 years. In the last year, completely unprovoked. A day after Hamas massacre on October 7th, Hezbollah began attacks against Israel, which forced more than 60,000 Israelis on our northern border to leave their homes, becoming refugees in their own land. Hezbollah turned vibrant towns in the north of Israel into ghost towns. So I want you to think about this in equivalent American terms. Just imagine if terrorists turned El Paso and San Diego into ghost towns. Then ask yourself, how long would the American government tolerate that? A day? A week? A month? I doubt they tolerate it even for a single day.
And so that from Benjamin Netanyahu as he makes his case before the American people in New York City. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli prime minister, saying his nation is at war and vowing to return the hostages, 4 of them Americans, to return them as they were taken by Hamas. And think about October 7th, TikTok, here we are on this Friday, late September, on September 27th, not so far away from the 1-year commemoration of that horrific terrorist attack on Israeli innocent civilians. So we'll see as far as how is the American media, how are they receiving this, how are they reporting it, and that's a piece of this, because the American media, as well as the Biden-Harris administration, has continued to focus on the impact on the Palestinians. He's trying to give it from his people's perspective, right? And why they have, as he said, no choice. I want to pivot here as far as when we think about what's happening now. Let's just think about this with former President Donald J. Trump, who's been deeply skeptical of U.S. involvement in Ukraine. So I'll take you to another part of the world. As you know, we think of possibly ground forces of the IDF possibly going into Lebanon to try to purge the Hezbollah terrorists out of that area, that hot spot of the world, and what they're on the brink of. Now let's zoom in on another hot mess, if you will, in the world. And that is speaking about Ukraine and that battle with Russia.
I do have some audio of Zelensky and Trump just after their meeting, if you want to hear that.
Let's go.
So much for this meeting. 5 years passed. So we had meeting again here in New York in September, and now there are a lot of challenges in Ukraine, the United States, and of course I want to discuss with you. I think where we are together, I think we have a common view that the war in Ukraine has to be stopped and Putin can't win, and Ukrainians have to prevail, and I want to discuss with you the details of our plan of victory.
You know what he looks like? Because there's Trump, obviously dressed in his iconic, the blue suit and the white shirt and the bright red silk tie. And Zelensky is dressed like, I don't know, one of my teenagers as we were going to the mall, with the charcoal gray, sweatshirt and the cargo pants. He looks like the kid going to the principal's office because he stepped in it. Let's just be real here. Zelensky, I know he's the Ukrainian president. No disrespect here, but he stepped in it this week.
I have a freeze frame on the screen. It looks like he's even like...
Look at him. He's like kind of looking down, and Trump is like the principal, like, I know, son. All right, we're going to fix it. Since it
was kind of tough to hear, I just want to transcribe it real quick, audio-wise. Thank you so much for this meeting. We had a meeting again here in New York in September, and now there are a lot of challenges in Ukraine and the United States that, of course, I want to discuss with you. I think when we are together, I think we have a common view that the war in Ukraine has to be stopped and Putin can't win and Ukrainians must prevail. And I want to discuss with you the details of all of that. Thank you so much.
So speaking to the reporters and Trump suggesting that he would try to broker an end to the war with Russia, and, that he has a good relationship with everybody, including Putin. But this is the Ukrainian president, and quickly, just to bring it back to Pennsylvania, real quick here, I want you to understand something, that Zelensky knows that he stepped into it. He stumbled into this partisan fray this week ahead of these important, this is important. And he, obviously by his body language, if you could see that on YouTube, And so you have the Speaker, Mike Johnson, Republican, obviously House Speaker, calling for Zelensky to fire his ambassador to the United States, and that's Oksana Markarova, trying to basically throw her under the bus. She's the one who organized the visit with the Democrats here to Pennsylvania at that state weapons factory. We're the one where our Democrat Gov, Shapiro, basically signing bombs. The whole thing, not a good look, and a real mistake. You have Representative James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, chair of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. He has now opened a formal probe into the Pennsylvania tour. And so there's a two-pronged investigation from Republicans in Congress, just calling foul here as the Ukrainian president made that. He was flown in a taxpayer-funded campaign flight. Hot mess. Not a good look. And Zelensky clearly meeting with Trump, and you can see he's kind of cowering because it was a mess up. Hopefully they'll have good words and sort of, spiff that up and fix it up. And you can see that on Zelensky's face. That's my take. We have a great interview talking about, speaking of somebody else who is maybe messing up in New Jersey, a misstep by somebody in New Jersey. And will an outsider, a political outsider, a Republican businessman who says, hey, don't paint me in that Republican box, will take you to New Jersey. And I know that I've interviewed him before, but you're going to hear again from a candidate who's giving a Democrat, high-profile Democrat, a run for his money. So that interview, it's an important race, and you got to hear what this guy has to say. We'll take a quick break. Thanks for being here. Dawn's Show. Be right back.
You have key decisions to make about your money. Most investors don't beat the market, and neither do the hedge funds, who take a share of your profits. What if there was another way? A way for you to keep total control over your money where the interests were aligned. That's what the exclusive crash-proof retirement system is all about.
Mike Bizaccia from Logan Township, New Jersey. You can't follow the market because nobody can predict it. What you have today could be gone tomorrow. That's the way it works, up and down, and your money goes up and down. That's what led me to see if there was another alternative. Crash-proof retirement gave me that alternative. With Crash-proof retirement, the money you make is credited to your account, and that money's yours. No ifs, ands, or buts, no worries. No fees. We had a high point of 13.5%. Once it's credited, it's your money to keep. That's a big deal.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Mill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40. Each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Due at inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
Do you think the board behind my taxes? It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Better water leads to a better everyday experience. With treated water from Martin Water Conditioning, you can experience silky smooth skin, refreshed hair after a morning shower. Your clothes and towels feel softer. They're no longer battered with minerals. Your coffee and teas taste better. Your appliances using water lasts longer. Even before you leave your home, your entire morning experience is improved with better household water. If you want to experience better water, call Martin Water Conditioning 800-887-7555 or go online at martinwater.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Let's call out the media who does love to give the love to New Jersey Democrat. This is Andy Kim. They love to give the love, right? And so in this one, we have an outsider, a political outsider who initially, I think people said, nah, this guy doesn't have a shot. He's a political outsider, but he's a respected New Jersey businessman. And somebody recently released a new campaign ad about, don't try to put me in a box. So this is Curtis Bashaw, New Jersey Republican candidate, a moderate Republican, pro-choice Republican in New Jersey here, and now slamming his opponent, saying that, Kim, he's not going to secure the border. He's not going to keep New Jersey families safe. And so welcome in, Curtis Bashaw. Thank you so much for being here. You're getting tough here.
We are trying to make the contrast, Dawn, and make sure people understand that there's a choice in every election for every office up and down the ticket. And our case is this. We've created over 1,000 jobs over 35 years in Cape May, restoring old hotels, growing our business. We've done that payroll by payroll every 2 weeks. We're a business person. Our opponent's only worked for the federal government his entire life, and he is a public servant, but he hasn't ever created a job or known the responsibility of what it is to sign the front side of a paycheck. So we believe that contrast between a business person and a bureaucrat is real. Secondly, we've been living under this Menendez corruption for 18 years. We are 49th out of 50 states in what we get back from the federal government. I don't like being second to last, but the time people are ready for political outsiders, not insiders who've only worked in the government. That's a contrast. And then you get to the issues of security and whatnot. You're correct. Andy Kim just this week voted against a bill that would deport illegal citizens who have a conviction in domestic violence or attacks on women. And so, he voted against that. That's like the fifth or sixth border security bill that he's voted against. Yet that border security, we've learned from across our great state, is not a Republican issue or a Democratic issue. It's everybody's issue. We have almost 900,000 illegal people living in New Jersey, and it's not just making us feel insecure in our communities and our homes. It's costing us a fortune, billions of dollars, close to $2,000 per family. So these are common sense kitchen table issues that we think need to be solved by business people and political outsiders, not more of the same. You can't send the same party back to Washington and expect things to be different. So we're making the case across the state, and there are lots of people lining up to vote for us. Republicans are motivated. They're going to turn out. The enthusiasm in the Republican Party is at an all-time high, and so we expect huge support there. But we know that we can't do it just with Republicans alone, and that there's going to be Democratic friends and independent, unaffiliated voters who prefer, that understand we can't have 4 more years of the same, that understand that independent of their view about some national issues, that this Senate race, my race with Andy Kim, matters for New Jersey. And every New Jerseyan can decide who do they think is going to be the person that can go to Washington and actually bring people together to get things done. I'm that guy. My opponent is a member of the Progressive Caucus. He's on the far left side of his own party.
And look, I just
I'm
want
a
to make
guy
something clear, Curtis, that this is the Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act. I'm reading from the actual, from the legislature. It's H.R. 7909. If anybody wants to look this up, it was passed by the House of Representatives last week, which your opponent, Democrat Congressman Andy Kim. So how did he vote? Because I'm looking at this. I just want to clarify this. So we see 51 Democrats who are lawmakers in the House. They voted along with Republicans. And you're saying Andy Kim, Congressman Andy Kim, voted how?
Voted no. He voted no.
So he voted
against the bill.
So he voted against something that would protect women who, in particular, who've been violated. This is the violence against women specifically by illegals. And he voted no.
Correct. That's what happened last week in our, with Andy Kim's vote. And it's not the first time he's voted against these sorts of common sense border security measures. We need to decouple border security from immigration policy. I think it's been politicized and blended in a way that's confusing. But I went to the border. I stood there and I watched. I was at an unfinished section of the wall outside of Yuma, Arizona. I watched from 12:30 to 3 in the morning, 60-some people walk into our country unfettered. It was if they had TSA pre-check and were lining up for Space Mountain at Disney World. I mean, it was shocking to me to see it. But as I stood there, it's just common sense. Like, a country has a boundary. That's how you define yourself. That boundary is called a border. The border has ports of entry. Those need to be lockable. I lock the back door of my house and the front door when I go to sleep at night. If the doorbell rings, I open it. I say hi. If I invite them in, I invite them in. But maybe I'm going to say no, thank you. And so it's a common sense thing for a sovereign nation to have a secure border. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. We shouldn't be at odds about this. This should just be immigration policy. On the other hand, how many people, from where, for what reason? We need to roll up our sleeves and have a bipartisan negotiation and solution. I happen to know firsthand the power of legal immigration. A third of my 1,000 employees are first or second generation Americans. They are a huge asset. They came legally. They stood in line. They waited their turn. They went through a process. They don't want illegal immigration. And so I'm a big supporter of legal immigration, of a robust policy that works for our economy, that helps shore up, that pay taxes, and that contribute. To me, these are some of the common sense things that we want to go to Washington and work on. I'm going to put New Jersey first. I'm going to think about what's best for our state, and we're going to get stuff done in a way. My opponents voted 100% of the time with Biden and Harris, 100%. I can't imagine, just being a rubber stamp for anybody. I'm Curtis Bashaw. I'm going to represent New Jersey. I'm going to put principle over politics and make sure that we're doing the right thing at the right time for our state. And I'm going to be working in a bipartisan way to get these kinds of common sense things done.
I think of just this week, we actually took a piece of it live with President Joe Biden as he was on, and it was history because he was the first president of the United States of America, sitting president on live in studio in such a way. So that was a first of its kind. And the ladies of The View on ABC asked him, what he was most proud of in his career. And it strikes me that he talked about 30 years ago being a part of a movement and legislation that protected women from violence. I can't help, and that was the Violence Against Women Act. This in particular is an extension of it. It was sponsored by Nancy Mace in the House there. It passed. And in essence, those many 51 Democrats and the Republicans voting for this, and essentially saying that if somebody comes into this country illegally, that they would be, and then they commit violence against women, that they would be deported, or they would not, be allowed. They would be deemed inadmissible to our country. It seems like a no-brainer. But what do you make of that, even as on one hand, you have President Joe Biden so proud of this legislation as really marquee, something iconic in his entire long politician career, and yet here's your opponent, Andy Kim, in Congress, voting against that.
Look, I think the far left wing has been putting these super progressive policies ahead of what's good for our country's own citizens. And people are awake now to the impacts of this woke ideology, and they don't want it. They want us they want to feel safe and secure. We had a triple header happen this week. It was amazing. We just got the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police for our campaign. That was on the heels of the State Troopers Fraternal Association's endorsement week before last. And that was on the heels of the Police Benevolent Association. We have all three police unions in our state backing our campaign because we are for law and order, supporting our police, and making sure we can't pursue our happiness as citizens. We can't live in domestic tranquility as citizens, these fundamental goals and values of our founding documents, unless we support our police, support law and order, and have a secure border. So these things are fundamental, and I think this is a big reason we're going to win this race this fall.
And as far as this Senate seat, I mean, it's obviously vacated by Menendez. Does that play into at all, you as a political newcomer, an outsider, a businessman? Do you talk about Menendez much as far as replacing somebody who has, been convicted and left amid, the conviction of corruption?
Look, the stench of corruption has been wafting around New Jersey for many, many, many years under Bob Menendez. He beat it once. Second round of indictments he didn't beat. And so, he'll be punished for that. And that's a good thing for us to move on. Interestingly, the choice for voters to replace him, Andy Kim is really softer on so many issues than even Bob Menendez was. I mean, he may have been corrupt, but he supported Israel. Andy Kim doesn't. He may have been corrupt, but he really worked hard to make sure that we supported our friends and allies around the world. So I think that, we're going to see a lot of Democrats pulling for Curtis Bashaw for Senate because they know that this candidate, Andy Kim, is the most extreme far-left candidate that's ever run for Senate in New Jersey history.
Well, Curtis Bashaw, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me again this morning.
Well, it's great to be with you. Look forward to chatting again before Election Day. We're down to about, I think it's probably about 940 hours or so until the polls close on November 5th. So the clock is ticking. And just remind everybody, it's Curtis Bashaw for Senate.com, FLR, if they want to join this mission and get involved and help us. We would appreciate that.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Curtis.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. You too, Curtis Bashaw. So I know it's South Jersey has, and really known, I think, for, his business acumen, as well as he is the one who really reformed and beautified the Congress Hall Hotel and runs that as well as other hotels, business owner, and somebody who even I think the Murphy administration, respected and had tapped at different levels. So a respected businessman. Certainly I would invite his opponent, Andy Kim, who's a congressman in New Jersey, now running for Senate. Would love to hear his answer to that and how he would explain the fact that he voted against this violence against women by illegals, that act that did pass at the end of the day. But it's something that I think a lot of people are scratching their heads over. So invite Andy Kim, come on anytime. I know people say Andy Kim he's a nice guy. He's held a lot of town halls. And so I would love to hear from people whether or not how they would match him up against Eva Menendez and Curtis Bashaw. 855-839-1210. Got to take a quick break. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with an easy question. How are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is a key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember to use the code DROP to buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP at res-q.com.
At Tri-County Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, get wholesale club pricing for everyone. Choose from the 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4xE or choose the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE and you can save up to $15,500 off MSRP. Tri-County CDJR is easy to find off the Limerick exit of 422. Go to TriCountyCDJR.com to see our great inventory. And don't forget, when you buy from Tri-County, you get Tri-County for life.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-585-0344. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-585-0344. 800-585-0344. Once again, that's 800-585-0344.
Someone once said it's always better to do one thing at once. I see if you can do two things at once, why wouldn't you? You're probably doing that right now anyway. Like at Hutchinson Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, if you buy one fall furnace tune-up, we'll give you an AC tune-up in spring for free. You do one, and you don't even have to think about the other. See, that's two things taken care of. So the moral is doing two things at once isn't just easier, it saves you money. Book now at hutchcomfort.com.
Are you looking to remodel your home?
Emmons Remodeling offers complete remodeling services to turn your house into your dream home.
With quality craftsmanship and attention to every detail, Emmons designers and construction experts can handle all of your remodeling needs from kitchens to baths to basements and additions.
Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-585-0344. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-585-0344. 800-585-0344. Once again, that's 800-585-0344.
This is Jean Marie Laskus with the podcast Cement City. So there's this election coming up, a big one, and one guy's been indicted. People are talking voter fraud. Democracy itself is on the line. Sound familiar? Well, this isn't that election. This one is in Denora, Pennsylvania, a dying town in the middle of nowhere, where I bought a house and stayed for 3 years. Listen to and follow Cement City, an Odyssey original podcast in partnership with Cement City Productions, available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Revamp your living space with Emmons Remodeling.
Our seasoned designers and construction experts bring creativity and expertise to every project, ensuring stunning results for you and your family.
From new layouts to upgraded finishes, at Emmons Remodeling, we do it all.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on the web at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
A new season, 70 and sunny, especially on Sunday. What about that full fall road trip? You know, going from place to place. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're going to help you find that luxury vehicle you've been eyeing. You've earned it. Now go get it with a little help from my friends at Piazza. Oh, they have thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles from brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar, Maserati, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, and more. Just visit them, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Stop by one of their many dealers across Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey. Piazza, Piazza, PremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Clementon. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Oh, just to see the sourpuss face on a certainly Ukrainian president. I can't help but smile to myself when I see Volodymyr Zelensky's face. It's a little sourpuss on his face because he's like the kid at the principal's meeting, and I can't help but notice, you know, he's like a foot shorter than Trump, standing there, and Trump's like, all right, it's all right. You know, that's the body language I get. So Dan Borowski, our great Dan Borowski, is so good, the best. And he, you know, does the before and after. So Dan polled the two of them as they're meeting, the before the meeting in the principal's office. You're called to the principal's office. Did he get a little spanking? I don't know if he got a spanking. He looks like it. And then the after. So you've got both of them, right, Dan?
Yeah, so first we'll go with the before. This is just before the meeting. Kind of sets the stage as to what to expect from the meeting. And take a listen.
I remember that he could have played cute, and he didn't play cute. And so I appreciated that. So we have a very good relationship. And I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin. And I think if we win, I think we're going to get it resolved very quickly. I really think we're going to get it resolved.
I hope we have more good relations.
We're going to have. Oh, I see. Yeah, but you know, it takes two to tango. You know, and.
Oh, I think we have good relations. You're going into the principal's office.
Better relations than you.
I know. It's just, I'm sorry. I'm respectful, but come on, look at the body language there, Dan.
Oh yeah, you can tell. The look on his face is like, yeah.
Little
very
Zelensky,
rough.
He's like, looking up at him. He's like the principal, going into the principal's office. That's just my take on it. So you've got the after the meeting. They met this morning. So let's look at now the after.
And he wants it to end as quickly as possible. He wants a fair transaction to take place. And I think, right now I'm campaigning. So right now I don't have much to do with it other than we're doing very well in terms of the campaign. And I've been saying that I believe if I win, we're going to have a very fair and I think actually rather rapid deal. It should stop, and the president wants it to stop, and I'm sure President Putin wants it to stop, and that's a good combination.
So you think about what he's saying, and on a very serious note, and we've talked about the death toll here and the casualties between both Russia and Ukraine. And that's what Trump is good at. He's looking at this, and he's the peace and prosperity guy. And he's looking to both sides and saying, really? You've got 1 million people, casualties and deaths between the two of you. 1 million people. That's a city. These are fathers who are never, and sons and brothers who are never coming home. And he's saying, stop. Look at this, 1 million. And think about then, translate that to all the lives and all the families and all the generations, 1 million. And he's saying, stop it today. Stop this death and destruction, and let's restore the peace and prosperity. That's what, and maybe you think, oh no, we want to fight. We want to continue to fight. Why? What does tomorrow bring, or what's really going to happen here? And that's what Trump is known for. And so, no, is Zelensky happy about that? Nobody's happy. But Trump is the one, and as much as people want to say, oh, he goes on Twitter, or he goes on social media, he's the one who is the adult in the room, if you will, who's saying we have 1 million casualties. And when I say the casualties, not just the deaths, but the casualties, people who, if they survived this, these men and young men and fathers of all different ages, right, and grandfathers, these individuals, some of them will never walk again, etc. And so you're talking about serious casualties. He's saying, let's stop this. Let's restore the peace and prosperity. And Zelensky nodding with him. Just absorb that for a moment before you say, well, he's silly. He says inappropriate things on X because he, whatever. When the chips are down and it's important, think about what he just did. Just take that in for a moment. And Putin watches that, and you've got both of them nodding their heads. We have the power. This is the power of America and of an American leader and president to say, stop, restore the peace, and bring forth prosperity in this world. That is what Donald J. Trump offers, not just to our nation, but to the world. Are you against that? 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Tropical moisture remains in place as we head into the weekend. Clouds today with some showers around, especially during the afternoon. It'll be humid with a high 78. Shower chances continue tonight with some areas of fog, low 68. And for Saturday, mostly cloudy with a few showers possible, high 76.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
So much joy and laughter. Brought my friend who's a Giants fan, and I thought that he was going to hate it, but he laughed the whole time.
Well, the orchestra was phenomenal.
His daughter is really, really talented. His niece, all his brothers.
They're unbelievable.
Go Chip Snapper! That's Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com!
The following is a paid commercial message.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano for my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz and the Bentz Dental Group. His state-of-the-art facility makes your dentistry as easy as can be. Recently, they had a permanent tooth put in, and you know how it is. In the past, you bite down, it's too high, it's always too high. The back and forth getting it just right. Well, not this time. With Dr. Bentz, it fit perfectly the first time. Call the Bentz Dental Group now, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com, 610-272-6949.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
This is Carson Daly, and on behalf of Dr. Alfie, Katie Neal, and all of our guests, I want to thank you for joining us for I'm Listening, Odyssey's mental health initiative. Our goal is to open our minds and hearts to more mental health conversations, because talk saves lives. If you missed the special or want to hear it again, you can find it at imlistening.org and on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. For more resources on your mental health journey, please visit imlistening.org. Thanks again.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
So the documentary is Selling Sex, and I'm joined now by Daily Wire producer Claire Carson. This is something that I think is, especially as a parent of teenagers, this is important to me. It should be important to you. And the influence of what's happening. We talk a lot about the indoctrination of our children in school, but what about social media? What about what's on their phone and you don't know what they're seeing? And that's why this is riveting. It's must-see and debuting soon. It's my honor to welcome in Claire Carson, Daily Wire producer of Selling Sex. Hey, Claire. Or Daily Caller, I'm sorry. Daily Caller. Excuse me.
No, it happens to everyone. Don't worry about it. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan, for saving me there. We have so much breaking news today, and so sometimes we like to break away, Claire, from all the breaking, local, national. There's so much happening, and just to put a spotlight on something that you've obviously put your heart and soul into, Claire Carson at the Daily Caller, producing Selling Sex. Tell us about it. First of all, how did your process? What inspired you to put this together?
So I'm 22 years old, just graduated college. The other filmmakers that I worked with during the project were 23, 24, and 26 respectively. So it's something that had kind of been on our minds growing up. Because obviously, I mean, in so many headlines that are being written by older people, it's like, what's going on with this generation in porn? So many people are, watching it and having these negative side effects. And my fellow documentarians and I were living it. These were people that we grew up with, friends that we had that had serious pornography problems. people that had been exposed, as early as 8 or 9. Some of us have brothers and saw it in them. So it's kind of something that all 4 of us grew up with, and I think had been on our minds and weighing on our hearts for a while. And so when we pitched the doc to the higher-ups at the Caller, I think that passion came through and it got picked up.
So let's listen. Dan has a little bit of a trailer so we can get a taste of this.
The data tells us it produces more financial income than the NBA, Major League Baseball, and the NFL all combined.
One night, we just posted like 2 pictures, came back to it, and there was literally like $8,000 in there.
I get an email from the school saying your kids are expelled immediately, like they cannot come back anymore.
Someone was using a drone to drop notes onto my balcony of my penthouse. I mean, I've had people want to pay me like $30,000 for one of my teeth.
If the most intense hour of your day is looking at pornography, are you going to be changed by all these studies that say it's bad for you?
It feels like a colossal enough of a problem that everyone would be talking about it.
Every roommate that I had, with the exception of one person, had either taken their own life or died of overdose.
And so this is Selling Sex, Claire Carson. It's really about mainstreaming or normalizing porn, right? And the way, because we now have social media, we have the internet, everybody has that available right on their phone, and the people viewing it, it used to be way back in the day, maybe somebody was sneaking their like dad's magazine, that, nowadays it's accessible, and the people viewing it, especially boys, but I think also girls, it's getting younger and younger that they can have access to that, and then the impact of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I keep coming back to one of the quotes that did not make it into the trailer but is in the doc, from a recovering porn addict and now life coach Noah Church, based on the West Coast. He said that part of the problem is that now that it is more mainstream, pornography is getting more transgressive, and you're not going to, see videos that are, loving couple has a glass of wine and, has an intimate night together. It's violent and it's transgressive, and that's rubbing off on children, unfortunately. It's one of the biggest problems with this switch in this oversaturated market is that it has to escalate itself to these unparalleled places.
And so when you think about the ages dropping and getting younger and younger, some of the research saying that some of the people consuming this pornography, some of it, as you're saying, might be violent, but as young as 8 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some experts, obviously there's a little bit of a discrepancy in the research, but usually 8 to 12 is when people are reporting first encounters on average. 12 is kind of the accepted number that a lot of researchers have found in the last couple of years, but there are signs that are pointing to that number dropping.
And so when you think about this, as far as this Selling Sex documentary for, let's say it's an 8-year-old, or let's say it's a 12-year-old, or a kid somewhere in between, that's basically their first sexual experience, if you will. And then what impact does that have on them moving forward in their lives? What are you finding?
Well, it, takes something that's supposed to be, a first kiss that, a kid dreams of until they get it, they're 14, 15. It takes that first sexual experience and turns it into something completely removed from them, with 2 or 3 or 4 adults that they will never meet, who are often in violent circumstances, and it normalizes that. You take intimacy out of context and show it to a child who's going to mirror that behavior, and it has horrible social consequences. And we're seeing a rise in sexual aggression in young men, and a rise in thinking that sexual aggression is normal or even attractive in young women, and it's really heartbreaking.
And so it affects what I hear you saying, and part of this, and this is, by the way, we're talking about Selling Sex. This is a 50-minute documentary. And so when you look at this documentary, the impact, it's different, I would imagine, depending on the age of the consumer, the age, and the gender. And so what did you discover? Because I think people would be shocked as far as views by girls and views by boys?
So it's actually it's a lot more equal than you would assume. At this point, the internet is available to everyone regardless of their gender. And, we often think about pubescent boys being the only ones that are into this sort of thing. But if it's right in front of them, girls are too. And there's staggering amounts of, middle school and high schoolers that would report either that they use porn frequently or that they would call themselves a porn addict. And that's, across both genders.
And so for this, one of the lines is that, and I was even surprised as, again, a parent of teenage boys, is that they said, well, some of these, some people do want to do this because you can make so much money on these different sites and the OnlyFans sites and that sort of thing. Is that shocking as well, that people say, well, what do you think about when you were a kid, when people say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you grow up? For me, it was, as an 8-year-old girl, I wanted to be a journalist. That was something I aspired to be.
It worked out.
But and then I did, right? So that kind of scares me when I look at people saying, "Oh yeah, I want to make whatever $8,000 a pop with my OnlyFans site or an influencer in this arena."
Yeah, we had a fantastic interview with actually an Australian woman who came to DC to sit with us, and Victoria Sinise. She made a great point that little girls used to want to be movie stars or pop singers because they would see, Julia Roberts or Madonna having the availability to travel and having the money to travel, and they'd look happy and their pictures were posted everywhere on all the magazines. But now they're seeing that, younger women can travel and look happy and have their pictures everywhere if they're doing OnlyFans. And it's so similar to, what pop stars and movie stars used to be. It's just in a different format. And, young women are starting to notice that.
Thankfully. Well, Selling Sex, I know it premieres October 4th. And tell me where it's available. It's exclusive as far as subscribers. Do you have to subscribe for the Daily Caller?
Yes, you do. First month is $1, and it is available right now. If you go to any of our social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you can find links to it there and our reels. The website itself is sellingsex.dailycaller.com, and it will be a Daily Caller exclusive. You're right.
Claire Carson, thank you so much for joining me. I hope we continue the conversation. This is important work you're doing. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Daily Caller. And it's really revealing this underbelly, if you will, of the dark side of the porn industry. I'll tell you more about a personal situation that happened to somebody I went to high school with. I have to take a quick break, but I do want to bring this full circle to somebody I knew who ended up in this world. It's a tragic story, but I think for me it's personal. Take a quick break, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having two fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40. Each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-It Inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows, and you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
From your kitchen table to our airwaves, the Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app. You took it all away, I give it all away. You take my freedom.
Yeah, so her name was Colleen Marie Applegate, and I was a new girl in Farmington, Minnesota. My parents moved around so much. And so we had moved to Minnesota during high school. I was a sophomore. I know, it was crazy.
Didn't develop an accent, huh?
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Colleen Applegate, her stage name became Shauna Grant. She was a good girl from a huge Catholic family.
Should I Google it?
She was, you can Google it because you'll see.
I'll put
see.
it on my phone without the work Wi-Fi. How about that?
So, and her life was fictionalized in movies. 60 Minutes did exposés on her life and what happened to her. Some people swear she was a murder victim. At the time, they ruled her death a suicide. The TV, one of the movies was, Death of a Porn Queen. There was another one, Death of Innocence. She was the sweetest, most innocent girl and got swept up into that whole porn industry. And it was a tragedy, just a tragedy. Ran away from her small town in Minnesota and became like a porn star, but had this, it was a horrific situation where some said she was like a sex slave, but her name was Shauna Grant. That was her stage name. You can look her up. She was a beautiful human being who was one of the first people who was kind to the new girl, much younger, in school. And so she was, in my view, she was a murder victim. It's a tragic story. This whole world, this porn world, if you think, it should be legalized and this and that. No, it's a horrific world, I promise you. And
beautiful woman.
I know.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Just a sweetheart.
Wow.
And so when I hear about people, like our last guest who is just trying to expose this, and especially at least make sure that it's not something that your kids underage or, my God, 8 years old. That was some of the research that Dan had given me. Kids as young as 8. looking at this stuff, and then it involves violence and all of that. No, it's never good. So we, Colleen Applegate in heaven, she was just a real angel on earth and a sweetheart. Everybody loved her at school, and it was a shock. And I know that her family still grieves over her death. They're in Little Farmington, Minnesota, but a sweet girl just caught up in the swirl of that evil, dark world. And now to think about it, I know, Dan. I'm sorry to end. I don't want to end on a dark note.
It's crazy though, and I got a documentary to watch now too.
Yeah, it's So we have to watch for October 4th for this latest one.
To watch,
to watch it.
And the one on Sean Grant. Yeah.
My gosh, have we had a dull moment?
It's been a quick show.
My goodness, love working with you. I'm grateful that you've agreed to helm this show. I'm so excited. My family members are like, we love Dan.
Oh, well, thank you, family. Not my family. Thank you, dog's family.
And what a week this week. And then this weekend, I know I'm going to try to make it out with my friend Hope, and she'll be out this weekend. I know that Lindsey Graham is going to be in town, others. So it's a big weekend with the campaign. So that's going on Sunday. So I'll try to get to some of these events.
I didn't ask for this.
It's a little taste of the South coming here right to Philadelphia.
See, you're going to have
right?
some Graham there, huh?
And I know that we have the Dom show coming up. He has some great guests. But my goodness, with Trump and we have J.D. Vance coming to Pennsylvania. We have these two major congressional investigations that are barreling down, asking a lot of questions about what was going on with Zelensky here in Pennsylvania. So much happening. Trump on the campaign trail. He'll be in Michigan later, right? So he travels from New York City, where he was meeting with Zelensky earlier, as well as others. Then Trump heads to Michigan. And then we have the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, trying to do some damage control as she is headed to Arizona to the border. And we'll see what happens. And I'm always anxious to see this. Will at least local reporters do their due diligence, shout out a question, as CBS is reporting that she'll try to reinvent herself and call for border security? How does that play in the news media that she is the current vice president?
Come on, call for border security
right?
after, you are sitting in office, right, Kamala?
What
an
an
I think
insult.
she is.
Incredible. I hope you have a beautiful Friday, a beautiful weekend, and we're saying prayers for everybody caught up in hurricane, now tropical storm Helene, the Dom show, and then and Zioli was getting a lot of love as well as Dom.
Kale learned anything from Bruno? Is Bruno doing okay down there?
That's what I have not heard from him.
All right, well, let's say some prayers for Tony Bruno.
Yes, and Miss Robin, and they're trying to build a home down there.
I think, yeah.
My goodness. Have a great Friday. Have a blessed Friday. Thanks for being here. Dawn Stensland signing off, and now the Dom show.